I'd say my favorite part of the job so far is just the people I work with, like building those relationships, those friendships, knowing that they have my back and I have theirs, and just helping people out on the street. It's just fun. It's good to meet people every day and build relationships. Portland gives the best training in the country. Like, that's not something that can be disputed. I've seen it firsthand, and we get way more training than other agencies, whether it's just like in service or even with the advanced academy. Like, we're doing scenarios every single day just about, and that's what helps us be better officers, to prepare us for the street and work patrol.
Hello, it's Patrick Johnson, recruiter for the Portland Police Bureau. We're joined by Officer Zach today, and we're going to talk about transitioning from the military to the Portland Police Bureau. Hello, Zach.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So let's start. What branch of the service were you?
I was in the Marine Corps. I was in there for 4 years.
Okay. Where were you stationed majority of the time?
I was stationed in Camp Pendleton in California.
So of your 4 years when we were there, at what point did you start thinking about what you wanted to do when you ended your service with the Marines?
I would say for the longest time, I always knew I wanted to be a police officer. And so I kind of used the Marine Corps as like a stepping stone to get here. And it's probably about like 7-ish months before I got out that I decided to apply for a police officer position.
Okay, so you kind of knew prior to that, and then 7 months is when you started looking at other agencies to see what agencies are out there. Why Portland Police Bureau?
I chose Portland because I always wanted to work in a big city, have that big city cop experience, and then Portland gets some of the best training in the country, and so I wanted to be the best trained, and I was excited to do that.
And we go back a little bit more to, you said you always want to be a police officer. A lot of us have that same thing. Why?
Yeah, my parents work for a big metro agency in another state, and I grew up in that culture, so I always kind of wanted to do that. And yeah, it was just something I've always been passionate about doing.
So you said that you thought about applying 7 months before being done. We tell most of the people apply 6 to 8 months prior to being done with your service. Did you find that was about the right timing? And did you have like a job waiting for you, or how was that?
Yeah, it was perfect for me. So like I applied sometime, I want to say it was July, and then I got out of the Marines in January, and I kind of wanted like a little break for a little bit. And then right in February, like the first hiring ceremony we had, I was there for it. So I got sworn in like a month, not even a month, being out of the Marines.
Okay. Yeah. Do you get majority of your process done prior to that February date?
Yeah, I did. It was super easy. I did everything from Camp Pendleton, with the exception of coming up here once for a background interview and then right along in my medical stuff.
That's another thing about the process. Majority of the process can be done from where you are, having to only come up maybe 1 to 2 times.
Yep.
So how smooth was that process from where you were?
It was super easy for me, just so I didn't have to coordinate like getting time off from the Marines to come up here. I just did everything like on the computer, stuff on Zoom. I did all my PHS stuff on the computer.
Just the personal history statement.
Yep. Yeah, it's super easy and convenient for me.
How would you say the transition was? So let's go now, let's fast forward a little bit back to the February, and you have to move up here. How was the transition from going from the Marines to the Portland Police Bureau?
The transition for me was super easy. There's like a lot of other veterans. I got hired with veterans. So the culture is still kind of the same. Like, you have that camaraderie, and everyone's super easy to get along with here. So it's been super easy for me, and I love everyone that I've worked with.
Then your first step was getting hired and going to the basic academy. That's located in Salem, Oregon, which it's the same academy for everyone in the state. How would you say that compares to what you're used to for boot camp?
Yeah, I would say it was a lot easier than Marine Corps boot camp. You don't have the yelling. You're not yelling all the time. You're getting treated like an adult most of the time, majority of the time, all the time, I guess. Yeah, it was good. Like, it was nice to have that kind of smooth transition from the constant yelling and all that to classroom setting, adult style learning, like that. Yeah.
So that helped a lot. And then learning to do this.
Okay.
What about the advanced academy, which is, so you start with the basic academy, which everyone goes through. you come back, you get a little bit of time on the street. Actually, did you get time on the street before the Advanced Academy?
Yeah, I did. I worked for about probably 3 months before I started Advanced Academy.
Okay. And how did that 3 months on the road help you with then going to the Advanced Academy? And I'll explain this a little bit. The Advanced Academy is, in addition to the Basic Academy, it's Portland focused. So you learn a lot about the Portland stuff you're going to deal with more, having cover around with you, just different type of calls that the bigger city would have. So how did that prepare you for the Advanced Academy?
I think having that time was perfect. Like the 3 months was probably the perfect time for me. I got to experience it, roll calls or just different types of calls for service that we were getting. And it really helped me prepare for like the Advanced Academy, just so I had somewhat of an idea of what it was that we would be dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
How did Advanced Academy then prepare you for the streets?
Advanced Academy was great because it was tailored specifically for Portland. So like I got all the scenarios were tailored for us. All the instructors are from Portland, so they know they have experience in Portland. So all that is meshed together, and then it greatly helps us to know how to better police in Portland, as opposed to with the State Academy, it's everyone. So the scenarios may not be as realistic for us as they would be for some other agencies. So it was very helpful doing the Advanced Academy.
So you talked a little bit about the camaraderie and training and stuff like that. Can you expand a little more on that about the military? You felt like there was no gap in from leaving the military to the Portland Police Bureau, for a positive note, that is.
Yeah, for sure. Like the relationships I've made here, like friends and stuff, they've been some of my best friends, like right off the bat. Like they're just awesome people that I work with. Like I always thought that it was going to be, I thought the Marines were going to give me some of the best friends I've had, which they have, but I also got that here in the police bureau too, like closest friends I've ever had in my life.
And one of those friends from the Marine Corps now works here?
Yep. Yeah.
Why is that?
He wanted to be a police officer, and then we kind of always joked about it in the Marine Corps that we'd be partners one day, and now he's in the Basic Academy.
Because of you?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So you came right out of high school and went 4 years into the Marine Corps and then came here. So did you have a chance to use the GI Bill once you got hired here with Portland? Can you explain a little bit how that's used?
Yeah, so it's super easy for me. Like I fill out a piece of paper, I give it to our training coordinator, and it starts when I begin pre-academy, and it lasts the duration of my probation. So I get to use my GI Bill each month, and it's just a direct deposit into my account, which is super nice.
Wow. Okay. And training helped do all that for you? There's not much you had to do for that?
Yeah, there was nothing I had to do other than that one piece of paper. It was super easy.
I'm going to go back to some of the beginning here. You and I actually know each other from the beginning.
Yep.
As being the recruiter,
Yep.
I met you at Camp Pendleton.
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel about the interaction there with myself? And then I also had a backgrounder with me who became your backgrounder. How did that feel applying with us and then knowing you have met us already in person beginning of the process?
Yeah, I think that really helped the visit at Camp Pendleton. I thought it was great to put faces to the names and stuff, and then get an idea of who I was going to work with and all that. Yeah, it was great to meet my background investigator, and since he met me in person, that's who I was going to work with during my application process. And so it was just nice for me to know who I was working with and who I could ask questions to.
I guess that's good. So a little more about the Portland Police Bureau once you're hired on there. What is your favorite thing here that we offer versus like we have good pay, good benefits, wellness? Which one of those do you like the best?
I would say the wellness is nice. Yeah, an hour every day to kind of decompress or get ready before your shift or work out, and it's paid too. So
yeah, so 1 hour a day, you can do anything mind and body wellness, right? Make yourself a better person, work out, read a book, yoga, do anything like that that's similar like that. What do you think about the pay versus some of the other agencies you were looking at?
I mean, like talking to people in the Basic academies, hearing what like their starting pay is compared to ours is kind of mind-blowing, like how much better our pay is compared to everyone else across the state. So I feel lucky to be here. and get that pay and all the benefits that we have and great people altogether. It's a great agency.
Yep. And you get a lot of time off. I know you're newer. You haven't probably taken too much of that time off because I know you love the job.
Yep.
Right. So you're saying earlier, it's just like even on your weekends, you just want to be back at work.
Yep.
I understand that, but at some point you're going to take some time off and relax a little bit like that. So you are not from Portland. I know that. But what do you like doing in your time off when you get that time off around the Portland area?
Yeah, the 3-day weekends are awesome because, 2 days just isn't enough, but 3 days you can go on a road trip to the coast, which I've done before, stay down at the Cannon Beach area. Beautiful. There's lots of forests around to do hikes and stuff. Rivers, it's a very outdoorsy place, and that's what I like to do. So it's beautiful. Oregon's a beautiful state, and everything's really close to Portland, whether it's the coast or mountains. Like there's Mount Hood. It's beautiful. I've done a lot of traveling and just trying to see the state and explore its beauty and stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And you get the time off to do that.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite thing about the job right now? Having come from the military, you're still newer. What is your favorite part about the job?
It's a good question. I would say my favorite part of the job so far is just the people I work with, like building those relationships, those friendships, knowing that they have my back and I have theirs, and just helping people out on the street. It's just fun. It's good to meet people every day and build relationships.
So we have people that are getting close to their end of service with the military, and they're either looking at jobs that they're not quite sure what they want to do, or they're thinking about police work. Why Portland Police?
Like I said earlier, Portland gives the best training in the country. Like that's just not something that can be disputed, I guess. Like I've seen it firsthand, and we get way more training than other agencies, whether it's just like in service or even with the advanced academy. Like we're doing scenarios every single day just about, and that's what helps us be better officers, to prepare us for the street and work patrol.
All right, Zach, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
And if people are down at Camp Pendleton, then go to the Career Center and see your picture actually down there on an ad for the Portland Police Bureau, I believe.
Yep.
So, again, thank you very much. And if anybody has any questions about the Portland Police Bureau, want to apply, go to joinportlandpolice.com. Thank you.